For this product review, I'm going to be comparing the Polar Loop activity tracker to the Withings Pulse activity tracker. I've been wearing the Polar Loop for about a month, and I've been wearing the Withings Pulse for almost 2 weeks. The Polar Loop costs retail here, at least where I am in Alberta, about $150. The Withings costs about $100. Let's just start with the Polar Loop, okay? First of all, this is a nice, sleek bracelet style activity tracker. Issues with the bracelet are that when you initially purchase it, you have to trim the rubber portions of the bracelet to fit your arm, and if you trim it wrong, it's going to be unwearable. If you trim it too short, it's going to be unwearable. If for any reason your wrist changes size, or say you want to sell it or something like that, there's constraints because it's already cut to one size. On the other hand, it is a nice sleek wrist design. Personally, I don't like to wear things on my wrist, and so this is the first thing I've worn on my wrist probably about 20 years. I didn't mind it, but it does get in the way when you're doing some activities. If I'm doing martial arts, for instance, with a partner, I have to take it off. It is submersible, so you can take it underwater if you're a swimmer, so that's a benefit. It tracks your activity. This is basically your movement through the day, and it tells you, in order to reach your goal for the day, based on your height, weight, gender, and age, it tells you what you need to do. So I think it's about 10,000 steps that I'm supposed to take per day, and so it's saying that I need to jog at least 14 minutes or walk another 33 or stand up on my feet for about 2 hours in order to make my quota for today. I've done a lot of walking already, but it's saying that I haven't done enough. So that's my activity. It also counts, calories, or gives you some kind of estimate of the calories that you've expended in the day. It also counts the number of steps that you've taken. So I've taken almost 10,000 steps today. And then it keeps track of the time, of course, so you can use it as a watch. And I think that's it. Yeah. So that's what it monitors physically, on your wrist. And what I testing it for this last month or so, it seems to be that it's movement itself of the arm that cues the unit. And so, if I'm walking with my arm still by my side, it doesn't register that much movement. On the other hand, I could walk like 10 miles with my arm at my side, and it wouldn't register as much movement as it would maybe if I swung a stick around for a half an hour. So it's got its shortcomings in that respect. The Withings Pulse, you have some options. It comes with this kind of Velcro bracelet thing, and this is not so good. This little bracelet thing, this comes off really easy, and what I've found is I just wear in the bracelet at nighttime when I'm sleeping, because I guess it does a good job monitoring your sleep when you're wearing this on your arm at night. During the day, however, most of the time, I just carry this unit. This is a nice, small, compact size maybe about as wide as a quarter, maybe a little bit longer than that. You can see not even as long as my thumb, maybe like the second joint of my thumb. And you can just carry this piece in your pocket as is, or you can wear it in this clip. It fits into this clip, and you can clip this to your belt or your pants or really whatever you want. This tracks, of course, my number of steps. So this says I've taken, in contrast to the polar loop, this says that I've taken almost 1,400 steps, which I think is more accurate because I did take a long walk today. So this is my steps. This also counts my elevation, and this is a nice feature because the polar loop does not take elevation into account. I'm often going up and down steep river coulees. I might be out hiking in the mountains, and I don't want it to read as though I'm just taking a stroll in the city park. So for me, this elevation reading is very important. So I have climbed 83 meters in height today as I've moved around. It shows the distance that I've gone, so obviously this is more like based on maybe GPS coordinates than it is on just the movement alone. So I've gone 10.3 kilometers distance today. That's nice to know. And this says I've burned 611 calories, which is quite different than what the loop was telling us. What did the loop tell us? The loop tell us that calories 2149, which is not likely at all. 611 is more likely, I think, for the activity level that I had today. So far this is looking more accurate in terms of the steps and the calories. Certainly the elevation and all of that. So you got calories, and then here, this is a nice feature of these of the Withings. You have a heart monitor. The polar loop does not have a heart monitor. Anytime you want to monitor your heart, it's got this little sensor on the back, and so what you do is you press the heart, and it tells you to place your finger on the back. Now it's reading. And it says I'm at 82 beats per minute. So, and it stores that information away into my stats. I can check my heart rate anytime I want during the day. And that it'll include that into my stats. So you got your heart monitor. Also, when you want to go to bed, it monitors your sleep. So you can hit this, turn it on, and it says good night. And you can go to bed, and it's going to monitor how you do in your sleep. And we'll see when we get to the software what that shows up as. So anyway, I'll turn that off. Morning, I'm awake again. And I've got 0% of my sleep, obviously. So those are the features, and of course the time that you get right on the display of the Withings Pulse itself. So, just comparing the two units just as standalone, the Withings gives you more information, and you're not restricted to wearing it on your wrist. However, when you do wear it on your wrist, the wristband sucks. I do not believe that this is submersible, so if you're a swimmer, this is not going to help you with your monitoring your swimming activity. For everything else, though, I prefer it. I prefer something small like this that I can put in my pocket or clip on my belt, that I don't have to wear on my wrist, and that gives me the kind of information that this unit is giving me, like the elevation gain and all of that, and of course the heart monitor, the sleep monitor, all adds to the appeal of this unit. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to move over and check out the software packages for both of these. Okay, let's start again with the Polar Loop. And here I have my my Mac laptop, and this is what I can sync my Polar Loop to, and this is what has the software on it. Now, I also own an iPhone and an iPad, but what I found is that although I'm supposed to be able to sync the Polar Loop to the iPad and the iPhone, mine doesn't work. I think the Bluetooth feature in my loop is broken, and it was broken. It was not working at the time of purchase, and so I've had to rely completely on using the laptop. My wife, on the other hand, has also been wearing the Polar Loop, and hers is able to sync to her iPad, but not her iPhone, because she has the iPhone 4 D or something like that instead of the 4S. You got to have the 4S and above, something to that respect. Anyway, so you have a patch cord with which to connect the loop. This is a magnetic end to this cord. What I don't like, of course, is that this is a funky funky cord. It's not a common cord. It's not just a straight up USB. And so if something happens to this cord, it's going to be a pain in the butt to replace. But anyway, I'm going to plug this in, the USB inside the computer, and I'm going to plug in my loop and show you what happens when it syncs and the software and all of that stuff. So now it's plugged in, and it's going to start syncing to my computer. It's going to open up some windows. So first thing to open up here is this synchronizing window. And synchronizing my daily activity. So you wait for this to finish, and then the software proper is just going to open up the web page, and I have to sign in. So sign into Polar Flow, and guyokakimi.com, and password should bring me into the program proper. Yes. Alright, so what we have here is basically this is a map of all kinds of other people using the Polar Loop and what's going on in their lives with their activities. You also have a live feed of the stuff that's going on with other people with Polar Loops right now. The interesting feature of the whole web page / software is this diary. This is where you get to look at your stuff, and I'm gonna look at now. You see, it's got a calendar here, and every day it shows you, what % of your activity you did. So in general, I did over 100% of my activity every day, though there were some days where I had missed and a little bit. And then there was this day here. There's a little icon here that shows, and this icon, this triangle here, is a warning, an inactivity warning that it gives me if I sit still for an hour or more. So I have that inactivity warning, and then over here it shows you for the week basically what you were able to do. So both last couple of weeks I got 180 or 108% of my activity. Scrolling down, you can see the activity score. I think this is scoring for 2 days. Basically, or maybe this is the whole last week, or maybe that's the month. Let's go to the week. See what's going on with the week. Yeah. All right. So this is, I'll go to last week and show you a week that was actually completed. All right. So this is a completed week, and you can see it says I was laying down but for 2 days and 3 hours total. I was sitting down for 2 days and 12 hours. I was on my feet for doing low-level activity for 1 day and 13 hours. I was doing moderate activity for 6 hours and 40 minutes, and I was doing intense activity for 1 hour and 40 minutes through the week, and I did wear it day and night. So it counted 79,983 steps during that week, and says that I burned perhaps 20,336 kilocalories. And yeah, and I didn't get any inactivity alerts. Now if I go to this training summary thing, it doesn't give me anything, because if I don't have the another Polar accessory, which is the heart monitor that straps on your chest, then this doesn't help you at all. So that is basically what it will show a person on a given, this is your workout diary kind of a thing. All right, I'm going to check out the what it looks like for a day. So for the day, you are able to write in notes in your diary. You are able to log in how you felt that day on a scale of bad to awesome. Again, it gives you a summary of and it shows you this color-coded wheel for your activities throughout the day, and the summary of how many steps you took and kilocalories burned and hours slept and all that kind of stuff. And again, it's pretty basic. So that is pretty much the what the software is like for the Polar Flow. It's just a very simple activity diary, and you can compare data by the month, by the week, and by the day. So next we'll be looking at the Withings. Okay, now for the Withings, and I think you'll agree that software is another area where the Withings really shines. Now, you don't have to plug in your Withings to anything, to any computer in order to sync it. This one, the Bluetooth actually works, and it works with devices even as old as my very old iPhone 4D. However, you do need to charge the Withings, and you do that with this little cord, USB. You can plug it into your computer. You can plug it into a wall adapter, and it has this kind of a male end on it that I don't really like. I'd rather have a regular old USB again, but this will do anyway. So you have your cord there when you want to charge it up. To actually sync it, well, most of the time, I mean, it syncs at regular intervals by itself. But if you want to force it to sync, you open up the software, this HealthMate by Withings, and once the software is open, here I will hold down the button for the Withings for about 3 seconds, and it'll start syncing. Now we just got to wait for it. It's going to do its syncing thing, and then we'll check out the software. So I will turn this back on once the sync is finished. It takes a couple of minutes to do, and so I don't want you to sit here and wait a couple of minutes. Oh, but I can show you something in the meantime while this is doing the sync. Now this is coolness. The Withings, unlike the Polar Loop, is able to sync with some other health monitoring type of software packages, and the one in particular that I've been working with is this MyFitnessPal. In MyFitnessPal, which is a free application on the web and on iStore and all those kind of places, you can chart your food, all your food, and monitor your calories for the day and that kind of thing, and your exercise, and it syncs with the Withings. So if the Withings makes it appear that you have more exercise than just what you're typing in as your exercise, then it will count in the Withings. Let's just go look at yesterday's. So yesterday I've got all of my stuff that I ate and drank and all of this, all of my calories monitored, and then down here I've got my totals. So I still could have eaten, at the end of the day, I still could have eaten 183 more calories, 150 more carbs. I went over by 10 in fat. Could have taken in 70 more, I think it's milligrams of protein. I went way over on sodium. I could have had more sugar. I only had 1 glass of water by itself. Yesterday is looking for me to have 8 glasses, and so it monitors what I ate in the morning, afternoon, evening, and night, and takes into consideration any fitness stuff that I've done. That is just food, I think. Food, but you can monitor your exercise as well. You can look at yesterday's. I did some martial arts, about 70 minutes of martial arts for 886 calories. The day before, did a little bit of martial arts, some backpacking, and in total burned probably 630 calories. Anyway, I really like this because this gives you the nutrition side of things and shows you, how to balance out for your calories and all of that. And so I like it a lot that the Withings pairs up with this, syncs up with it. So I think that's an awesome feature. Okay, so what's going on now with this is the Withings software itself, and it's on my phone. You can put it on your iPad, you can put it on whatever smart devices that you have. My activity shows that I've done 139% of my activity for the day. I've taken 13,903 steps. If I open this up, it'll show me for the whole week how I've been doing. Let's look at last week's. This is last week's, and you get the little blue line of 10,000 steps, which is the goal, and normally I go above that goal, but there are days when I didn't do quite as much. And of course it gives you some data here, number of steps for the week, total calories, the distance that I went last week. I covered 63.55 kilometers in distance. I climbed in elevation 607 feet during the week. Tells you this kind of stuff. It's your activity, heart rate, monitor here and there, and so it just shows me, my heart rate that I just took for you guys was up a little bit from what I'm normally at. Alright, what else we got? Sleep. So last night I did not get much sleep, and that's true. It was the daylight savings threw me off. I was up really late and awake early, and it shows me that I was, even the time I was laying down, I was supposed to be asleep, I was still awake for an hour and 7 minutes of that time. I had light sleep for 1 hour 32 minutes of that time, and I had deep sleep for 1 hour 31 minutes of that time. An average for me is usually more like this. This is last week's, and I still never ever get my 8 hours of sleep, but on average I get 5 hours and 18 minutes in a night, and that is broken up into about 40 minutes of awake, almost 3 hours of light sleep, and about 2.5 hours of deep sleep. So that's the sleep. The weight, I can weigh myself every day and clock that in here so it can track my weight. And I've dropped a little weight over the week. When I set up the software, I set up a goal for myself, a long-term weight loss goal, and so it kind of lets me know if I'm on track with that. This week I haven't lost any because this week just started today, but if I look at my target date to get to my desired weight is May 3rd, 2014. So anyway, it's got the weight, and then because it's linked to my FitnessPal, I can sync with my FitnessPal, and it will measure my calories. Now I haven't plugged in my food for today for my FitnessPal, and that's why it says intake calories are 0, but outtake calories is 1917. Normally it would have my intake calories as well, and this would show how I'm balancing out calorie-wise, diet-wise for the week. So this is way more data than what you're getting in the Polar Loop. The colors on this butterfly represent different things. Like you have your activity is the orange, the weight is the red, sleep is blue, heart rate is green, and so these grow as you do what you're supposed to do for the week. So you can tap on any of these and it brings you to what's going on. So 84% activity. Thanks to our 276 minutes of activity these past 7 days, we reached the WHO standard. Great. How much physical activity do I need? And so it has all of these little features in it that is way more than what the Polar Loop offers in terms of the software. And I like that it syncs right on my phone. I use my phone a lot. I'd rather just open my phone than have to open my laptop and plug something into my laptop to sync. So in summary, I will say that this little unit, the Withings Pulse, is, in my opinion, the better activity tracker out of the two that I've tried so far. This has just all around pretty great features. The only thing I think really should be improved with this is that it should be submersible, and it should have a much better wristband or armband for wearing it than it does, although personally, like I said, I prefer not to use the wrist, but for those that do, I'm sure they're very disappointed with the wristband that this comes with. So that's my product review. If you have to buy one, I would say buy the Withings. It's $50 cheaper anyway, and you get much more bang for your buck.